wall. So, Tony, you ready? It's 7 o'clock, call the meeting to order. Let the minutes reflect that all board members are present. Everyone take a look at the consent calendar and the minutes and the amended consent calendar.
I have an amendment to the amendment.
Good, okay.
Item 2 should be 2016 budget.
Very good. We're gonna have to reapprove this year's, okay.
Are you talking about item 4?
No, item, yeah, 4B.
Yeah.
Anything else? Motion to accept as printed.
I move we accept.
Do we have a second?
Yeah, I'm second.
Jeff Clem.
Yes.
Jim Westmoreland.
Yes.
Lisa Snodgrass.
Yes.
Charlie Shoemaker.
Yes.
Dean Milburn.
Yes. Moving on to new business. Anyone from the audience wish to make comment tonight? Hearing none, we'll move on to the chief's report.
The only thing I have to add is talk to the auditor. The audit is done. They're getting their report ready, so we'll have an auditor's audit on for the August meeting.
Okay.
So they had some issues, health issues with their folks this year, so but we got the numbers from Steve that we needed for the budget, so we're fine.
Okay. Any questions or comments for the chief under his report? Hearing none, move on to items for action. Bylaws. Again, I want to thank Mr. Klemp for fixing those up for us. I believe everyone should have gotten the latest updates as discussed at our work session. Comments, questions, corrections, anything that you saw?
Well, you did a pretty good job, you know.
I didn't print them out because I didn't have time and my printer was acting up, but I read through on the screen right quick.
Okay.
To the best of my memory, they're right on top notch.
Okay. If there's no other comments, then do we have a motion to approve the bylaws as amended by this board?
I move we approve the bylaws amended by the board.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, motion and second.
Jeff Clem.
Yes.
Jim Westmoreland.
Yes.
Lisa Snodgrass.
Yes.
Charlie Shoemaker.
Yes.
Dean Milburn.
Yes. Moving on to the 2016 budget, permission to publish. As everyone knows, we have to give the public a chance to take a look at our budget. And if you take a look at the budget items, briefly, unless there's any questions, if you look at the, I think everyone's looking at this page. Synopsis, option 1 would step increase for existing personnel with an added $39,500 towards equipment reserve, with no increase in the mill rate. Option 2, hiring 1 additional firefighter. This would result in no increase next year's. Again, no increase in the mill. Option 3, hiring 2 additional firefighters with no equipment reserve. 4, hiring, and 3 would increase the mill from, we're at 7.696 to this point. That's option 1 and 2. Option 3 would bump us to 8.001. Option 4, 3 additional with no equipment reserve, and that would take us to 8.524. And we all know we have no clarification whatsoever about mill limits, but I don't think that'll come into play in any case.
I'll make a motion, we go for option 1. Step only.
I thought at this point we were just publishing instead of
We are,
going with what we want to do.
Well, you gotta have it first so they know what you're thinking about doing.
Well, don't you publish the whole thing with all the options? No, you just have to.
No. No, whatever you guys decide, we'll take the other options out.
I think the key points are income, our disbursements, our mill, any increase in mill, and depending on which option we go with. So taxpayers should be interested in if we're increasing the mill or, and what we're doing with our money. So option 1 and 2, there would be no increase in the mill. 3 and 4 there would be. So again, open for discussion. Did you make a motion?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Option 1.
Probably won't go through with the motion, but we'll use that as open for discussion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
works for me.
You know, I'll add some color on that one. You know, I think that kind of to Charlie's point, we've recently filled the slot that's out there. It looks like it's doing some good things as far as the response time and some things that we talked about in our work session. And I think that having I think it's 51,000 that to go to as a capital outlay, and then transfer, 39.5 to go to capital reserve is option 1.
Yes.
Mary, it seems to me like we should be able to collect a lot of data over this next budget cycle to determine if additional heads are needed out there. So for me, I agree with Charlie's point that I think option 1, not adding at this point, collecting further information so we can make a good educated decision, I think is how I'd like to move forward.
Because they really haven't had that much time out there for us to have that much data.
Well, I gave you guys that
Yeah, I
information
know what
last
you
meeting,
gave.
and we have it in black and white where we have lowered our response time in the 2 months, the 3 months that we've been doing this. So
Yeah.
let me remind the board that we have 2 shifts of 3 people. So for 2 shifts out of the 3, we have somebody at Station 2. Like today is B shift, there is nobody out there today. So 1/3 of the time, there's no one at Station 2.
Okay, and 1 additional would cover that?
1 additional would cover that.
All 3 shifts out there?
Yeah, all 3 shifts would have 1 person.
Okay. Jim? Discussion?
Well, I wanna go with at least, I would wanna go with at least, I mean, I gotta look out for High Priority. They still need more support out there. I'd have to go with, at least with option 2. I'm not gonna vote for option 1.
Lisa?
I like the idea of having every shift covered out there, and if we can do it and keep the mill the same, I mean, that seems like a reasonable thing to me. But I mean, I know there's other things that come into play there. I would just like to see that staffed 24/7, if we can do it. And, I mean, we can do it this way, so.
Along those lines, with 2 options that are bottom line identical, we could approve either one of these for publication. And then at our next meeting, with more data, have more discussion, and pick from the 2, because I'm hearing 3 and 4 are probably out. Charlie, I don't need to ask you. Jim.
Yeah.
So 1 or 2. So my impression is we could go ahead and publish, we could publish 1. And at the budget hearing next month with our meeting to approve budget, we could go to option 2 if the board decides to. Because we're not
You don't think the
increasing
numbers are gonna change?
just in 2 columns, but the bottom line and mill would not change.
I know, but that's not gonna change if we got all the.
Yeah, we've got all the numbers.
So you're right, Jim, tonight is only for publication.
Well, I mean, looking at the public say, well, you know, it's all the same, but if we go with the option 1. But if we finally decide on option 2, you know, then they have a little more.
But on the other hand, I'm thinking if we go with option 1, we might have a few people from High Prairie wanting to push for option 2 at the hearing, the budget hearing. Whereas if we just go with the option 2 right now, kind of a done deal, then maybe they'll want more than that. But like I say, this discussion.
We really haven't gained that much, guys, if you think about this. Chief said it just a second ago. We got one guy on this shift, we got one guy on this shift. If you was even gonna go one more person, that'd put one more person. But that only leaves one person.
On every shift.
Right.
Right,
Right now, we have 1 out of 3 shifts
Right.
not manned.
right.
Right, but you still only got one person.
The thought being, if we grow one person a year, if we can get the
I know what
economic
you're-
growth
I know
next
what
year to
you're-
do the same thing,
I know what your idea
then
is,
then we're
Chief.
gonna be where we need to be.
I know
Where
what
we
your
want-
idea
where we
is.
want
Your
to be.
idea is we might, in your plan, go ahead and just hire 3 now, and then we'd have 6.
Yeah.
And
But
That ain't gonna happen.
we can't afford to do that, no.
No, you can't afford to do it. And what I'm saying is, you're just adding personnel, one more person, but it's only one person. I know what you want. You want 6. Ain't gonna happen. And that's what I'm saying. So you're not really gaining anything by putting another person on that ship because he's out there by himself. Period. And you don't want anybody to respond to anything unless there's 2 people. Am I correct?
We have to start somewhere, though.
I know where you started, and like I said, I didn't vote for it last year, and it's there. Now we got 2 people. And up to this point, you really haven't gained anything. You gained a little bit of time, but we're not a big city. And what we got is what we've got. And I've said my opinion.
Well, I think we have improved response time. I mean, it's been in black and white that that's true. And Charlie, you're correct. So on that line of thinking, either we don't increase a little at a time, or we just go ahead and say, do it right, and let's hire 6 and get it done with. I think someone staffed out there cuts the response time roughly in half, so the people in High Prairie do get better response time. By the time one of our guys is on the scene, the other truck should be 8-9 minutes behind it,
Yep.
roughly.
And it's not only for High Prairie, everybody's got this, well, it's High Prairie, High Prairie, High Prairie. I also showed you guys where we ran last year 100 and some calls with just the duty crew. In the
Right.
daytime, we have no volunteers. So whatever we have on payroll is all we've got responding in the daytime. So that third guy, whether it be High Prairie or whether he be sitting here, is a third guy.
Right.
For the district.
For sure.
It's not just for High Prairie. He's sleeping at High Prairie,
Right.
but he's responding to the entire district. And there's been many calls, just like I said, we've had to call Leavenworth, we've had to call other places because we don't have the manpower in the daytime. And I've showed you guys that.
Right.
And Jeff asked for some information, I gave you guys all that information.
You bet.
It's just not for High Prairie. We picked up a couple more volunteers here this month, but again, they're evening and weekend guys. They're not daytime guys.
But no, having them staffed on shift, one person per shift is better than nobody out there.
Right. And to quote, to go with what Charlie says, like last year, you guys bit the bullet and we did a big increase and you guys took a lot of heat for it, we appreciate that, but this year we can add one with no mill increase. Possibly next year we can add another with no mill increase. If the economy keeps going good, then, we just have to wait and see what happens next year. If the economy goes bust, then we don't add anybody next year. But if we do it a little bit, take off a little bit at each time, then we don't have to swallow a big sandwich at one time.
Yeah, I can't
Take little
follow,
bites at a time.
I can't follow Charlie's reason when he says one person, if we could get one other person, it wouldn't make any difference. Basically, I don't understand that.
Well, pretty easy. It don't take a rocket scientist. We hired 2 last year, and everybody knows, if you've been on this fire board or know anything about this fire district, that we have our volunteers that third shift. The volunteers work weekends and they work night times after they get off the shift, 99% of the time, correct?
Well, the volunteers show up when they can.
Yes, but the majority of the time, when they're not working, they're not in town, if they're here,
Right.
then they're volunteering
Right.
when you call them. So the volunteers are technically covering that third shift.
There's a lot of
I
times
understand.
where the volunteers don't
We
show
can sit here
up.
and argue for hours, but that's a fact. The
Yeah.
volunteers are covering that third shift because they're not working and it's nighttime.
I'd say they're more available.
They're not covering just the third shift, they're
No,
covering
I
all
understand
three
that,
shifts.
but I'm saying they're more available, chief.
Yeah.
You gotta admit that, they're
Yeah.
more available.
Than
Right.
daytime, correct. They're
Right.
not available.
Right,
daytime.
because we do have one for each of the other two shifts during the daytime. That's fact. That's what I'm saying, for that third shift, then somewhat, we're relying on the volunteers to cover that third shift, because it is evening time shift.
You're talking about the third shift at High Prairie?
Yeah,
Third shift, period.
third shift period, but we have more volunteers period at that time. So we got more manpower, is what I'm saying.
Well, I don't believe we have volunteers sleeping at High
No,
Prairie.
you don't. No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
You have
I don't
more
know
people
what's
on duty to cover, whether it's Delaware, High Prairie, or Lansing. It doesn't make any difference. That is the weekends in the third shift. People are off work, so that's what we rely on. We're still a half-paid, half-volunteer fire department. Last time I checked.
Right.
Well, like I say, with options 1 and 2, we're talking the same bottom line. I don't have any real problem about publishing either one of them. The final decision will be after our budget hearing next month.
Right, but right now you got a motion made and seconded for option 1.
It's made.
We have a second?
There's no second yet.
He seconded, didn't he?
No, he didn't.
No, he started
I
discussion
thought we're
with
just-
your motion.
Yeah, we're just having, I thought we were just having a
Right.
discussion. But I would second that, if we need to do that tonight, I would do that, to publish option 1.
Okay.
So, I think, the last, we had a high energy meeting the last time we had a budget meeting, so
Yeah.
it was,
That's one way to put it.
and one of the things that we did is we kind of compromised and said, let's get it published. And that was adding the additional 2 people, and I'm just, I think for moving the dollar amount forward is a good thing. I think going with option 1 just gets it out there. High Prairie can come and state their case. It's, we had a lot of things that happened last year. We had a very strong, we went out to vote. It was pretty apparent that, the folks didn't want us raising mill levies, and even though this keeps both of them neutral, I'm not at a point to where I think adding another person is a good decision. I do think that at some point there will be a need for that, and it might be 2, because we're putting quite a bit into the general fund, so it's not like we're going to be taking a big hit if we decide to add 2 next year, or 1 next year, because we're taking and adding those dollars. It's not like it's going away. We're still going to spend it. We're putting it into the general fund, so we have the general fund is funded to where at the level we want it to be funded at. So I still don't think it would be a big hit to add more. If the information, and Rick has made a good point. We have information that said, hey, response time is going down, which is what we committed to High Prairie. That's why we did it. But it's whether it's a good decision to have that staff full-time, I'm not there whether that's, we should be doing that or not.
Well, and the other side of the coin, as Rick was pointing out too, daytime, when the bell goes off, have we got 2, 3, 4 people available for whatever?
It's only full-time.
It doesn't matter where they're sleeping,
That's
I mean,
Right,
et cetera.
Right.
So like I say, I have no real issue. I personally like option 2, but I don't mind publishing 1 to get it out there, let the public look at it. And then our hearing will be before our monthly meeting that the public can go ahead and discuss this. And then we have to make a decision. Going to go with the published one or option 2?
And because of the same amounts, we can make that change.
My understanding is
We can always go the same or
Publishing.
down, we just can't go
we
up.
could decrease it, but we couldn't increase it. That's correct.
Right.
It's Kellen Road. Kellen Road.
So for publication, so we have a motion and a second for option 1. Let's go ahead and vote.
Jim Westmoreland.
No.
Lisa Snodgrass.
Yes.
Charlie Shoemaker.
Yes.
Jeff Clamp.
Yes.
Dean Moberg.
Yes. We're going to publish option 1 there and revisit again next month. Permission to withdraw our funds to pay for our roof. We have a very abbreviated motion here to use our CD to do that. Any discussion on that?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
again, roof's 94,000. And how much is the CD?
80,000. We budgeted 80,000. That's all we can take out.
Right, okay.
We've got
Well, that- yeah.
we've got a CD for 87,000, so what we'll do is take the 87, we'll put 80 in the bank, and the other 7 will go back into a CD.
Okay, that's what I
'Cause
wanted
that's
to
what we
know, what
budgeted.
the amount was with what we're spending.
And the amount's 80?
Yeah, we budgeted to take 80,000 out
87,
of
so we have to come
reserve.
up with 7,000.
If we run out at the end of the year, then we'll have to do the amended budget.
So we need a motion for that?
We need a motion to take 80,000 out of that account.
Well, we need a motion to for Dean to cash the CD in.
Right,
Correct.
Yeah, we guys have already made the
Yeah.
budget for 80,000, so that's already done deal.
Okay,
To pay for the decision we've already made.
that's great.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
instead of me just doing it, I want to bring it before the board that we're cashing in a CD.
I'll make that motion, that's fine.
Okay.
I move we cash in our, board chairman cash in the CD in the amount of 87,000, 80 to pay for committed roof, 7 to go back into another CD.
And I'll second that.
Numbers there.
motion.
Yep.
Also,
And then I'll second that.
okay? Motion and
CD
second.
71124.
Correct.
Right. In the amount of 8.
We have a motion and a second.
Jim Westmoreland,
Yeah.
Lisa Snodgrass,
Yes?
Charlie Shoemaker,
Yes.
Jeff Clamp, Dean Moberg.
Yes. Okay, items for discussion. Do we have any?
I just wanted to ask the chief again, where are we at now? We're paying on 2 vehicles, because you brought up a while back. Is it this year, next year? Is it next year?
17, isn't it? You have any truck?
When is that other truck?
Pay off next
No,
year.
We got 2 that we're paying on.
Right.
We're paying on the one we just got, which is
Right, we're paying
$500,000,
off one next
and I
year.
don't know how much we owe on the other one.
We pay off one next year.
But then you said there was another truck
Yeah,
coming up. When is that coming up?
next year.
That's the point I was trying to make.
We're
So no matter what we're
budgeting to make
doing-
payments for it next year, and then it's done
Right.
next year.
So we're gonna have to think about that next year of replacing that truck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how close are we on that other truck to being paid off, you know?
Which other truck?
Not the new one, the other one that we're
Next year.
paying on.
Next year,
It will be paid off?
yes,
Then you have one that's coming up then,
to be replaced,
be
yes,
replaced?
yes.
Right, okay. You with what I'm going at or not? We
We have one to be replaced, we have one that'll be paid off next year, and we have one we owe some money on.
Yeah, you got the brand new one we just purchased,
Correct.
and then he owes a certain amount on truck number,
We owe on 61 and 65.
right. And so that's what I'm
65 is
saying.
paid off next
What-
year,
what I'm
61 is
trying to-
paid off in 8 years.
What I'm thinking about is just how much indebtedness do we want to go? Do we know we got a long ways on the one we just bought, and we don't know, I don't know how much we owe on the other one, but another one's coming due to be looked at or replaced. So what I'm saying is just how many do you want to owe on? If next year we decide to purchase another one, and the other one is pretty much paid off, right?
So we'd always have, this one, it would say we'd have 2 that we're
Yeah.
paying on consistently. That's kind of how the model's
And
set.
then we can
Right,
take,
right,
and,
right.
a year from now, we'll be having that discussion, and we can take some money out of the equipment reserve
Mm-hmm.
and make a down payment on it, and whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah.
But as the crow flies anymore, with what we just went through on the last one, we're still probably talking another $500,000 or better.
Probably.
Yeah.
No, we gotta get an aerial. It's 1.5.
Say, what? What do you need an aerial for?
Gonna keep up with Bonner and Baser and some of the others out
The
there.
newest building we got in town, I know of, that there monstrosity called a high school out there, and that thing ain't got nowhere near an aerial.
Well, my big concern, in all honesty, my big concern on an aerial is the houses like in Rock Creek. It's got the 12 pitch roofs.
Yeah.
The buildings around here, the high school, the hotel and all that stuff, that doesn't scare me as much as those buildings with them 12 pitch roofs.
You made it up on mine just fine.
Yeah. It's because somebody wouldn't let us drive an aerial down his driveway.
That's great.
But that's what scares me about, you know, a house fire more than anything else for an aerial, so. It's gonna be in discussion in the upcoming years, whether I make it or my replacement makes it.
And is city
Or I
code,
make it and then I get replaced, so.
are we limiting city code because of that? That they
The
allow
city code is limited, yes, because
To-
for commercial buildings to 3 floors.
3 floors?
If the city came and said, we're gonna go higher than that, we would then have a decision to make.
Oh, yeah.
Correct.
So, but
Then we get in the
until
city's
the
pocket.
comprehensive plan and somebody says, I want to put a high-rise of 5 stories or 6 stories, I think we can always pull that trigger
Yeah.
if there's a movement in that direction based off of not our decision, the city's
Oh,
decision.
yeah.
But like I say, my big concern is the big houses with
Yeah.
the steep roofs.
We've been doing get what we need and not what we wish we had, so that's.
Yeah.
If we have a need someday, then we'll look at it.
Yeah.
Anything to discuss? Jim, anything to
Nope.
discuss? Lisa? Okay, concerns? No?
Good.
Done those? Okay, I want you all to enjoy the next meeting, budget hearing and all that, because I won't be here.
Wrong.
I will be gone the 3rd, so I am requesting to move the meeting to the 10th, which still gives us plenty of time.
Well, here's this time.
Well, and opposed to moving it up a week, which is too tight
Yeah,
for
it's
the,
too- that's too
Let
tight.
me see what you're saying here.
We have to have it to the county by the 15th. So,
You mean for publishing?
no.
No.
We have to have it to the
Done.
approved
We have to
budget
be
to the
approved
county
to the
by
county by
the
the
15th.
15th.
Yes.
and we will have the
15th of August.
It has to be
hearing.
published 10 days before we have a meeting, so if we have it the 29th, then that's going to be pushing tight.
We can,
We'd have to-
so, all right, maybe I'm confused. So we can publish it now? Oh, the approved.
Well, it's going to
budget we have
take
publish.
Wagner a week or so to get it all legalized. And then we got to put it in the paper, and it's got to run in the paper, then we have to wait 10 days. So
So what are you?
3
saying?
weeks from now, it's pushing pretty hard.
second Monday of
Yeah,
August.
so August 10th is fine.
Okay. I was
Because it
just
will
gonna
be
look at my
done by the
calendar real
10th. Our hearing will be 6? Normally we do it at 6
No,
o'clock.
we moved it to the regular meeting, we just moved it to regular meeting at 7.
For last year, I think maybe 5 would be good.
So you want to have it the 10th?
Well, we'll have the budget hearing first,
Well, we have it we have it during the regular meeting.
but that
We
will
changed
go
that.
on before
No,
before approval of the budget.
Yeah, but we have the meeting, you open the meeting, then you'll open the budget hearing.
Right.
We- Yeah.
At the same, during the same meeting, we quit
Right.
doing it before.
Not
that.
two different meetings.
No,
at
we
the
used to do
same
that,
time.
and it was a waste of time. We'd
Yeah, because
get
you sit
done
here,
in
you sit here
15
for
minutes
20,
after
you
we
sit here
hit
for 20
7.
minutes because you can't do
with
nothing
you.
else.
Yeah, so 10th will work, as long as we got it done and out, approved by the 15th, so.
Okay.
You okay?
Yeah. Good.
Charlie?
Yeah.
Lisa?
Yep.
Jim?
I didn't hear all of it.
I'm just requesting to push our next meeting back to the second Monday.
Second Monday, okay.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, then it'll be August 10th. If nothing else, motion to adjourn.
Make
We
that
adjourn.
motion.
Second.
Okay.
Is this the
Stereo.
latest and greatest?
Deal.
So we're actually having a meeting like
That's the
that.
word.
You just open it up and then we close it and then we go right back to the deal and then we
Jim
go
Westmoreland?
to the regular
Yes.
meeting.
Lisa Snodgrass.
Yes.
Charlie Shoemaker.
Yes.
Jeff Clamp.
Yes.
Dean Moberg.
Yes.
I'm
Thanks,
sorry I
Terry.
did it wrong. But it's done.